Great. So, my second presentation, I don't know how many of you were here yesterday. Can I see who was here yesterday? Not that many, that's great, because certain things that I will be saying are really a repeat of what was said yesterday. But again, you know, it's a very hard act to follow. Yesterday I was talking after Chris, and today I'm talking after our inspirational speaker again today. So it's tough. It's a hard act to follow. You would agree that they were both great. So I'm Ania Krolak. I'm part of Smithers Spira. And how many of you know Smithers Spira? Quite a few, but still, I'll tell you just a few words. If I make it work.
No?
Yeah, now it works. Okay, good, great. Thank you very much. So, Smithers Spira, we are a large group of many different divisions, and we do lots of different things, about 900 of them, part of an American group that is based in Akron, Ohio. And we've got the global presence on 3 continents, and I'm from the UK. Leatherhead is our headquarters in Europe. And in terms of the activities that we cover, it's reports. Some of you may know us from the 60 different reports that we publish. We also organize lots of conferences and do a lot of testing of different materials, mainly in our core industries such as packaging, print, paper, definitely all the industries that are linked to it, such as security, documents, and also active in plastic and rubber testing. And I'm from the division that is strategic consultancy here, and what we try to do is to really help our clients to get better. You've heard this expression quite a few times today, yesterday, to get better. Yes, we listen to our clients and try to understand what hurts them, and then try to work out together with them what's the best solution for them to grow, to get better, to be more profitable, etc. So without further ado, I would like to take you to the video that I hope it will work. But again, I need your help, please, with that. Sorry. How to control this? This one does not change when I change.
Yes, 1 moment. Oh, okay. 1 moment is.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Okay. 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 1 moment.
yeah. So we live in a changing world, and
1 moment. Moment. No, I open. Sorry. 1 moment, que no quiere.
sorry.
Ya, pero esté curioso. Espera, que abro esto. Un momento. Sí.
Okay. And will you activate it? Oh. I do beg your pardon. It's
Okay, one moment. I take the video. No. Okay. One moment. Put video and extend that there. Extend it there. One moment. This. Try this now. This is the problem. Now.
okay. Well,
One
I
moment.
think we'll
One
skip that.
moment. Oh, he's there. One moment. He's there. One moment, please. Extend it. This video I don't check.
Okay, that's okay. Let's just move on.
Okay, one moment.
The video is about the changing world, and what we have experienced is really a fast-moving world that I wanted to show you in this very short 6-minute video clip. So when you've got a chance to get this presentation, you can play it yourself and think, oh, we are getting it. It is by a Spanish author, so so much. And sorry for the technical problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
we live in a changing world, and we are going to talk about the commercial printing and what we see as Smith Aspira going forward. So in terms of the global printing, as I would like to show it now, yesterday I spoke about mainly European picture. Today we are changing a little bit the scene and talk about global picture. It's a global printing. And the segments that we see, it's publications, graphics, and packaging. That's how the data that I'm going to show you are going to be developed. So if your definitions are different, sorry about that. But in our definitions, publications include books, catalogs, directories, magazines, newspapers. The graphics segment includes advertising, business forms, general commercial print products, other promotional media, photo products, security products, transactional mail, and packaging, as we spoke yesterday about different types of substrates going into packaging: cartons, corrugated board, flexibles, labels, metal, rigid plastics. So that just to really set the scene for lots of figures that I'm going to show you. As we heard, sometimes figures speak volumes, so it is quite important to see the changing world also in that respect, in the figures way. What we can see here is in the publications area, we create value mainly here. 50% of the volume is in publications, and in terms of their value, it's 16%. So that's compared to 50% in packaging. So as you can see, that there is quite a discrepancy here where the volume and where the value is. In terms of packaging, what we've tried to do really to have it like for like is to show the packaging also in trillion A4 prints, which is normally not the way you would think about packaging, but still in terms of the volume, it is for comparisons shown like that. The future of global printing, what we can see is the overall print value is declining for all print products except packaging and labels. Packaging and labels are showing the greatest dynamics, and the forecast you will see later on is really all in favor of this two sub segments, and the key trends, of course, is the rise technology, digital technology that we've all heard about now, and in terms of the trends, the connectivity, the social media creates less print. We've got RU codes, AR, which is augmented reality, virtual reality, NCFs, NFCs, and this type of environment creates less, of course, demand for printed materials in the publications and graphics segments. E-commerce is another force that is shaping the global print. Personalization and short runs are giving it a totally different outlook. Circular economy, sustainability, it's not a new subject. It's something that we have experienced for so many years, but what has changed now is really the fact that the subject has become emotional. We've all probably seen the turtle with the straw in its nose, and we've seen the pictures of the Asian beaches full of rubbish, and it's mainly plastics, it's mainly packaging. Luckily, it's not so much for the commercial print, but again, it's affecting the printing world in a way that also the ink producers are thinking about cradle-to-cradle aspect, and we've seen a few already certifications for inks as part of really the whole effort to be circular, to be more sustainable. And also there is the fourth industrial revolution that is shaping the world of print together with all other really industrial environments. There is the Internet of Things, cyber Internet of Services, and cyber physical world is changing the way we manufacture products. What we see in terms of the trends per segment is in publications is long tail books. And how many of you know what long tail books are? Have you experienced that? Yeah? Can you tell us?
Probably a book that no longer exists in a warehouse, no longer in high demand, traditionally not printed or reproduced anymore. And now with digital printing, you can order a copy of one and produce and ship to a customer. That's more or less what it is.
Thank you for that explanation. Does anybody have got a different definition? When I started learning about what's the definition of long tail books, because there are so many different terms coming into the effect at the moment. So there is the Pareto situation where you've got 80-20, and long tail would be the 20%, the insignificant many. And that's quite interesting because this insignificant many now are becoming the profitable segment that is likely to bring more profit to you than the 80%. So there is this concept being created and business models created around that. The big data for personalization in the graphics segment, that's what we see as well as a big trend, just to mention one. There are many other trends, but of course this one is something that I'll talk a little bit more later on. And in packaging, we see inkjet for corrugated hybrid a type of technologies coming in a big way. And inkjet is the direct printing of corrugated, and hybrid, of course, it's analog combined with digital. E-commerce personalization is really something that is shaping the packaging segment and labels at the moment in a big way. And direct to shape, it's another area that is worth looking at. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with this concept, but it's something that is worth exploring. So some more figures, some really summary of the global picture. And we can see here again the three different segments that I talked about. Developed publishing, developed graphics, and developed labels and packaging, as opposed to non-developed. What we mean, it's a shortcut, sorry for that, it's just space that is at premium here. So it's comparing the developed world with the world that is developing. And what we can see here is really the very interesting trend. I already told you that the publishing and graphics are declining. And at the same time, we see the convergence of the two worlds in 2023. If you see the line, especially for publishing, the world of developed countries is really converging with the world of developing countries. This is another view showing the value and volume development of the three segments, again on the global basis. And the lines represent the volume that is, of course, going down, but growing for packaging and labels. Going down for publications and graphics, as you can see, but at the same time, it is in line, volume and value is in line with the overall trends. Again, some other facts about the analog printing versus digital printing. We show volumes here and value. And yes, it's quite an interesting picture how small the digital print is in terms of volume, but in terms of value, it is also decreasing here. And it means that it is really the digital print value is going up to 20%, and analog print volume is decreasing here. So a big trend here showing big changes. Big changes from a small base, but growing fast. This is all, yes, this is all segments taken together as an overall picture, the global picture. Mm-hmm. Regarding the a look at the publications, again, one of the three segments, we can see the minus 2.3% decline. Really a picture of decline mainly in the areas such as newspapers and magazines. The books are holding. That's really good news that despite what we heard today, people are still reading books. They like to hold the book in their hands, and they read still the books. And we've got the less pessimistic view of ours regarding the growth rate to 2023 for the graphics segment. So minus 0.7% decline here on a global basis. And in the positive note, security printing is holding quite well. It's a segment that is showing good growth, and that's linked, of course, to the security threats and the effort in the world to be more secure. And the picture for labels and packaging, overall growth of 3.4% on the global basis. I showed you the picture yesterday for Europe, which was 2.2% on the global basis. Of course, it is quite a good growth. And what really we would like to stress is that in a declining markets such as publications and graphics, what is needed is new business models. And the business models have to be very, very thought through. You have to understand what would be the best way of tackling the challenges of today's world. So ecosystem business philosophy is something that is very much needed. We all heard about that, and the fact that we are here really proves that the ecosystem thinking is very much alive about print, and in the area that is so vital for survival here. New customer focus, big data management. This is another example of how the business model could change. And just a quick story to tell. It's about really 3 different invitations. When my son wanted to graduate, I wanted to throw a big party and thought about writing an invitation. I would buy a blank and fill it in by hand. And he said, no, I will do it myself. He did it online. He ordered invitations designed by himself online. The printer sent it all to him. And what would have taken me a day of going to the shops, buying the blanks, filling them in, making lots of mistakes, it took him really, a few hours. The millennials are full of ideas, full of the need for personalization, full of different approaches to how. Also, they connect to the printing world, I wouldn't have thought about it myself, and he did. And it's important to think about your customers also as different generations, what each generation needs, how they really connect to the print. The focus on Industry 4.0 is something that, again, needs to be taken into the business model. And in terms of the online shopping, again, e-commerce, how you embrace that, how you participate in this big movement is another big area to think about. So I will conclude with the suggestions for the value chain actions, what could happen in terms of different actors in the supply chain, in the value chain, whatever you want to call it. I prefer the value chain perspective, but of course printers have to think about added value services, both in terms of products and services as well. But it's the added value, how you enhance your services, how you enhance your products, is important. Paper makers, there's been quite a shift in the way they think. You know, there is decline of paper needed for graphics and publications. Some of them have already started converting the machines into paper and using the opportunity to create packaging grades because of the decline in the other sectors. So there is a need to have the demand supply balance here, and we've seen these actions. And also they have to create innovative papers to meet both customer and consumer expectations. And OEMs, what we suggest, you know, it's just again one example, direct to shape technology development is something that is disrupting the industry at the moment in this particular segment. You know, they have to act as key disruptors, in our opinion, key technology disruptors. And paper merchants, again, they need to consolidate, they need to diversify, and there is always a need for change. Keep repeating the word change. We've seen how the changing world is developing. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and if you've got any questions, we've got just maybe 5 minutes.